So what you're looking at right now is my tomato plants in these cheapy cages. Well, the tall plastic ones there aren't so cheap, but they're still kind of flimsy. I got those, and I got several more over here. And you'll notice on the ground, I got what looks like white or tan stuff spread all over. That's stuff to keep the deer away. I think I've come up with a solution that will take care of my deer problem and the flimsy cage problem, because once these tomato plants fill out, I'm going to have to put in all kinds of supports. I have to every year, just because these flimsy store-bought ones don't work. Well, they work, but barely. I mean, they don't support the weight. So what I'm going to do is I went and bought a 5 foot by 50 foot roll of remesh. That stuff is intended to be put into like concrete to help stabilize things and make it a little stronger. But I'm going to cut it into 5 foot sections, so a bunch of 5 by 5 sections, and make my own tomato cages out of them. I'm going to get started on that and show you what. All right, today we are making tomato cages. I started out with a 5 foot by 50 foot roll of remesh, which is normally intended for making concrete patios, that kind of thing. It's got 6 by 6 inch squares, and I've just rolled out 5 feet of it here. You can get that. It's not exact, but it's close enough. There's 6 inch squares, so it's 10 squares to get me 5 feet of it. That 5 feet is just to the left of that bar, or the board with the odd shaped bricks holding it in place. The reason for that is I'm going to cut the remesh just before the end of the 10th square. That's going to give me some wire, 6 inches of wire to work with, and a smooth surface to the beginning of the next one. So I'll have a flat surface over there and a sharp pointy one over there. And I have already done this once, and I'll take it over and show you what it looks like. Here we have, again, smooth on this surface, and on this side I have taken the pointy ends, and you can see I have turned them into hooks. And what's going to happen is, over the plants over here where they're still narrow enough, I will go ahead and enclose this, hook the hook end onto the smooth end, and just slide it over the top of the plants. And for the ones where they're a little big yet, I want to go in open like this and then close it around the plants. I'm trying to get more support in there, because these little store-bought tomato cages, well, they just don't get the job done. And a secondary, and actually equally as important reason, is these 6 inch holes are big enough for me to get my hands in and out to get any tomatoes, but it's too small for the damn deer to get their heads in there. I've tried several things to keep deer away, and the latest I've used is liquid fence, which seems to be working. I've also, my buddy over at Crumpy Acres recommended Billy's Bone Sauce, but I haven't gone and bought that yet, because for the price of this 50 foot roll, I can make 10 pretty good tomato cages, and I got them year after year, and they don't reek to high heaven. I mean, the smell keeps the deer away. It's keeping me away. That stuff stinks. Anyway, so it's step one. I've got 1 cut, and I'm going to make 9 more using that setup. In case you're wondering, that piece of wood is under there to get the wire off the concrete, to give me enough room to get in with my bolt cutters, this is the tool for the job right here, bolt cutters. You can use handheld wire cutters if you got forearms like Popeye, but you're going to be making a lot of cuts and doing a lot of bending. I don't recommend it. Use a bigger tool, make things easier. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. This is what it looks like. Left 1 clean edge to start the next piece, and I got wires sticking out to make into hooks to finish this particular cage. Now, one other thing you can do, which I'm not going to do, is along one of the edges, it's going to be either the top or the bottom, you can cut that long piece off and leave yourself a bunch of wire remesh sticking out, and you can use that to poke it into the ground. I am not going to do that because I've already got cages in place this year, so they'll help hold it in place. Plus I've got a lot of other things I can use as anchors. So I don't like to have a lot of pointy things around when I'm trying to store stuff over the winter. So I'm gonna not do that, and I've got other ways to secure it. So besides, once the tomatoes start putting some weight on these things, they're not going anywhere anyway. In fact, that's the reason I'm building these things. They weigh too much for the cages that they're in, and they're gonna, well, those things will start falling over until I brace them up, or like I just did with that one, put one of these cages around it. All right, so started out with a 5x50 roll of remesh. I now have 10 good stout tomato cages that will hold the weight of many tomatoes and keep the deer away from the main vine of the tomato, so they, you know, they can get some leaves and whatnot, but they ain't gonna get killing the plant like they did last year. Got 6 of them right in a row there. Then that's my beans are going to be climbing that, and then I've got 3 more on that side of the garden, and then I've got 1 more that is extra, and it is the last bit of the roll, so there's some questionable chunks about it, some pieces missing. I don't know if this thing's ever going to get used. It may, but if it does, the side with the extra holes in it and whatnot will definitely be on the inside of the garden, not outward facing where the deer can stick their head in. Anyway, so it was $44 for the roll of remesh at Menards. There's an 11% rebate. They rebate almost everything there, so it ends up being about 40 bucks. So it's about $4 per tomato cage, which is cheaper than these conical things that they sell at the store that don't really do much for you. So some elbow grease, about 40-45 bucks, and 2 tools, a bolt cutter and a pair of pliers to cut the remesh and to make the hooks, like right here. Now, fair warning, that is a workout, and if you're not careful, definitely wear gloves, because I ended up with a blister on my hand because it was rubbing too much. So yeah, be a little more careful than I was. But anyway, it's an economical solution, and I hope you learned something here. Enjoy. Good day. If you like the content, please hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Thank you.